Officer Jackson. However, or Detective Jackson, I just don't think that at this point, based on the time frame, that I can not give relief. Obviously, I think that the lack of criminal history is important. So that goes into this, because if we've got any type of criminal history, we'd be looking at something a whole lot different. I don't disagree with Ms. Malfino about what's going on in Jefferson County, but I also have to individualize each case. All right, sir, you are Eleazar Stansberry, and Mr. Stansberry has been charged with the offense of murder. The case has been filed and not indicted yet. Mr. Burbank was appointed to represent Mr. Stansberry. Ms. Holmes has joined in just with regard to filing an application for writ of habeas corpus seeking a bail reduction. And so we set it for this hearing. Mr. Stansberry's bond is currently set at $1.5 million. And Ms. Holmes, you may proceed.
He does have family here who will make sure that they secure his presence. Just briefly, although we don't have all the information, I can say from what I do know that in regards to this particular case, Mr. Stansberry did not flee. He's actually the one who called 911 after this had occurred. He was cooperative with law enforcement and providing his statement of events and everything that happened. So I do believe that that is a mitigating factor for the court to put into consideration, that we do not believe that he will be a flight risk if the court reduces his bond to a reasonable amount to allow him to bond out. Since this has occurred, Mr. Stansberry has lived in the area since 2020, in which he was relocated from a hurricane, in which he moved with, at the time, with his children, who do reside here in Beaumont with their mother, in which they share joint custody. Since this has occurred, Mr. Stansberry has lost that apartment where this occurred at his apartment. If he is allowed to bond out, he does plan, or is in hopes of planning, to live with his current girlfriend, who's here as well, with his parents. She lives at 25419 Richton Falls Drive in Richmond, Texas.
I think there is going to be a dispute with respect to an affirmative defense versus an intentional and knowing murder. I don't disagree with that. I think the sides are not in the same position right now, but it's kind of hard to read between the lines with a 3-sentence probable cause affidavit. I think based on what this court has done recently, and based on just on the fact that every single weekend we turn on the TV and there's a murder in Jefferson County, I think that bonds in this county to protect this community, understanding of the defendant's rights, need to be substantially more than they have been in the past. And I think the court is beginning to follow, at least this court, is that trend. I'm not saying that an amount of relief is necessarily opposed by the state, but I don't believe, just based on what I know, Judge, and based on everything we're dealing with in this community, that something as low as $200,000 would be sufficient at this point.
My biggest concern at this point is the fact that this is from November 7th and you guys don't have it yet. And I think obviously the nature of the offense is we're tired of hearing about these offenses. It's the worst offense we can have. However, I mean, everybody has the right of being presumed innocent, you know, and we've got somebody sitting here for 30 days without a case even in your office, much less indicted yet. And I think that's a big problem that needs to be addressed. And so that puts you guys in a bad position as well, Ms. Malfino. I think the facts are somewhat important, and I wouldn't mind hearing from Officer Jackson. However, or Detective Jackson, I just don't think that at this point, based on the time frame, that I can not give relief. Obviously, I think that based, the lack of criminal history is important. So that goes into this, because if we've got any type of criminal history, we'd be looking at something a whole lot different. I don't disagree with Ms. Malfino about what's going on in Jefferson County, but I also have to individualize each case. So that being said, I'm going to grant the relief. I am going to reduce the bond in this case to I'm going to reduce the bond in this case to $500,000. Mr. Stansberry will be ordered to live in Richmond, Texas at 25419 Richton Falls Drive with Ms. Starks. Will be required to wear a GPS monitoring device and be on house arrest. Other than for coming to court and for visiting with your attorney, without my permission, you don't go anywhere else if you make that bond. If you've got doctors, if you've got different things like that, you get with Ms. Holmes, she gets with me, or Mr. Burbank, either one, they get with me, and then I either give you permission for that or not. Other than that, you're on house arrest with the GPS monitoring device. We'll know immediately if you leave the house without permission. The bond will likely be what it is now, if not more, if that happens. Are there any specific, I guess I don't really need to worry too much with a no contact, or because I'm going to have him on house arrest if he makes the bond. But obviously you're not allowed to be anywhere near that old address or anywhere near anyone who was involved that night. You're not to have any communication with anyone involved. So that all doesn't just mean contact in person. It means you can't talk to them, send message to them, anything at all. What were you?
Judge, I just wanted to ask the court to consider, for what it's worth, the order that he not possess a firearm or be in a home with any firearm. And also,
Yes.
I don't know how to request that you order this, but I would prefer, and I think it would be beneficial to the court and to the fact that this is a Jefferson County jurisdictional issue, if he obtains that GPS before he leaves here, so that
They'll put it on before he won't be able to leave jail without it.
somebody we work with, such as Johnny's, would be able to keep the
No.
court informed of his whereabouts.
It has to be, when we order a GPS, it's part of them getting out of jail. They don't get out of jail until they come put it on their leg there, I'm pretty sure. And so, isn't that how it works on GPS? I know not on drug patches, but GPS, they could put them on.
Before they get out.
Yeah, okay. So that gets taken care of through the bondsman, and they get somebody to get that done upon leaving or checking out or whatever happens there. Okay? So you are ordered not to be in possession of any firearm. If there are firearms in the home of Ms. Starks, they all need to be removed. So if you're going to live there, then you're technically in possession of that place. You can't have any firearms there. Make sense? And Mr. Williams, in cause number 25, DCCR 1254, you're charged with the state jail felony offense of evading arrest or detention with previous conviction. That is from August 14th of 2025. The indictment alleges that you were previously convicted of evading detention in Harris County, June 4th of 2007. And so that prior evading is what makes this a state jail if you were found guilty. Your indictment further alleges that you were convicted of the offense of burglary of a habitation with intent to commit theft, a second-degree felony, February 1st of 2006 in Harris County. And then after that was final, you were convicted of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, a second-degree felony, December 10th of 2009, also in Harris County. If those two prior convictions are true, then what that means is if you go to trial and you're found guilty, then the range of punishment would be enhanced to that of a second-degree felony, which means your minimum punishment would be 2 years in prison up to 20 years in prison. Do you understand? Okay. And so I know you've talked with Mr. Lewis about what I'm sure the state's offer is, and do y'all have an announcement?
I'm just not clear. I mean, the state jail felony is being enhanced
Yes.
now.
Correct. Yeah, so if you, the way it's indicted, and if those prior convictions are true, if you were actually convicted,
Yes, ma'am.
and you were convicted on different dates, like it says,
Yes, ma'am.
then this becomes a second-degree felony for punishment purposes. So whether you go to a trial or whether you negotiate, the only way for it not to be is if the state elected not to go forward with that, and that is completely up to them. And if they have given you an offer that does not do that, then that's what the offer is. You either take that offer or you go to trial, knowing that if a jury finds you guilty, what that range of punishment is 2 to 20, not the state jail. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you want to talk some more to Mr. Lewis about your options, or do you know what you want to do?
What was the state? 4 years TDC?
I'll hold it. Y'all go visit for a few minutes and just let me know if you need more time or anything. All right, sir. You're Derek Williams, right? Mr. Williams, you were given an opportunity to visit again with Mr. Lewis about what your position is with regard to what we went through. The possibility, if you go to trial, is potential for 2 to 20 in prison if you're found guilty, and that the state had offered a 4-year term if you wanted to enter a plea of guilty. And so what do you want to do?
I'll try.
You want to go to trial. So there's a rejection that you need to sign with Mr. Lewis. Y'all get that signed. I'll call you right back up here and we'll get your case set for trial. I do want to make sure you understand, though, I mean, I know we already went over this, that this offer will not be accepted after today. If you're not guilty, that's fine. That's what juries are for. But I don't want you to think by putting this off, you're going to get some better deal.
No.
Okay. All right. I'll hold it while y'all do that. I'm sorry?
So I was hoping to reach a plea deal today.
Well, the offer is what the offer is.
Understood.
Okay. You're Derek Williams. And Mr. Lewis, will your client waive the formal reading of the indictment?
He does, yes.
So we're going to go through the indictment again because it's required. Mr. Williams, you're charged with the state jail felony offense of evading arrest or detention with previous convictions. And that is from August 14th of 2025. The indictment alleges you were previously convicted of evading detention June 4th of 2007. It further alleges that you were convicted of burglary of a habitation with intent to commit theft, a second-degree felony, February 1st of 2006. And after that was final, you were convicted of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, a second-degree felony, December 10th of 2009. How do you plead to that charge?
Good.
And are those prior convictions true? And did you enter your plea of guilty and true freely and voluntarily? And because you actually did what they've charged you with. I have here on the tablet some documents that have your signature on them that the state has marked as Exhibit Number 1. Before you signed these, did you go over them with Mr. Lewis? Do you fully understand them?
I do.
And do you understand, if I follow the agreement that you've made with the district attorney, that you will be waiving or giving up any right to appeal?
I do.
Do you also understand, if you're not a U.S. citizen, that a plea of guilty or no contest may result in your deportation, exclusion from admission to the country, or denial of naturalization under federal law? State tenders number 1.
No objection.
It's admitted. Is there any evidence that Mr. Williams is not competent?
No.
All right, sir, I'm going to find that you entered your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily. Find that you're mentally competent and you understand the nature and the consequences of your plea. Find sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time, find you guilty of evading arrest or detention with previous convictions. Find those other 2 prior offenses true. Sentence you in accordance with your agreement to a term of 4 years in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Corrections. You will receive credit on that sentence for any time that you've been in custody that the law gives you the right to receive. I have handed you the trial court certification that shows that this was an agreement that I followed, and so you've waived your right to appeal. I have also handed you a written admonishment regarding your ineligibility to possess a firearm or ammunition. Because of the judgment entered against you, you're ineligible under Texas law to possess a firearm or ammunition. Possession of a firearm or ammunition could lead to charges against you. Firearm is a legal term, and you should read the written admonishment I provided you to see what devices qualify as a firearm. If you have questions about the laws that make you ineligible to possess a firearm or ammunition, or about how long that lasts, you can talk with Mr. Lewis. Good luck to you, sir. You can go back with the bailiff.
Thank you.
It's not accurate. It's not an aggravated.
No, sir. And will your client waive the formal reading of the indictment in each case? Mr. Robertson, in cause number 25 DCCR 0498, you're charged with the state jail felony offense of evading arrest or detention with previous convictions, and that's from March 23rd of 2025. The indictment alleges you were previously convicted of evading detention February 23rd of 1998, and then again January 10th of 2000. And then it further alleges you were convicted previously of possession of a controlled substance, a state jail felony, April 22nd of 1999. Then after that was final, you were convicted of delivery of a controlled substance, a state jail felony, November 20th of 2000. And then after that, possession of a controlled substance, a state jail felony, November 4th of 2003. And then convicted of two delivery of controlled substance, state jail felonies, June 13th of 2005. After that, convicted of possession of a controlled substance, a state jail felony, February 19th of 2008. Again, convicted of possession of a controlled substance, a state jail felony, April 12th of 2010. And unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, January 7th of 2010. And then finally, possession of a controlled substance, a state jail felony, July 29th of 2024. And how do you plead to that charge? Are all of those prior convictions true? Did you enter your plea of guilty and true to all of those convictions freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
And because they're all actually true?
Yes.
All right, I do want to know, what was that what did you get last year?
Wait, I believe,
Possession of a controlled substance, July 29th, 2024. Cause number 24, DCCR 0025.
state jail.
State jail.
State jail.
State jail
Give me
time?
a second.
Yes, state jail.
Okay. You ever been to TDC on any of these cases? So you understand if I follow that agreement, you're waiving your right to appeal, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you also understand, if you're not a U.S. citizen, that a plea of guilty or no contest may result in your deportation, exclusion from admission to the country, or denial of naturalization under federal law? State tenders number one.
No objection.
It's admitted. Is there any evidence that Mr. Robertson is not competent?
No, Your Honor.
And the agreement is for a dismissal in 0499, correct?
No, there's two cases.
Two cases, Judge.
What did I just read?
CC.
Oh, to run CC. Sorry. Let me go through. So then, that helps me. Hold on. I got to write this. All right, in cause number 25, DCCR 0499, you're charged with, give me a second, the state jail felony offense of burglary of a building from March 7th of 2025. This indictment alleges all of those same prior convictions that I read out previously. And how do you plead to this charge? And again, are all of those prior convictions true?
Yes.
And are you entering your plea of guilty and true in this case freely and voluntarily? State tenders number one in that case as
No
well.
objection.
It's admitted. Any evidence that Mr. Robertson's not competent?
No, Your Honor.
All right, sir, I'm going to find in each of your cases that you entered your pleas of guilty and true freely and voluntarily. Find that you're mentally competent and you understand the nature and the consequences of those pleas. Find sufficient evidence in each case to find you guilty. And cause number 25, DCCR 0498, find you guilty of the state jail felony offense of evading arrest or detention with previous convictions. Find those prior convictions true. Sentence you in accordance with your agreement to a term of 5 years in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Corrections. You will receive credit on that sentence for any time that you've been in custody that the law gives you the right to receive. In cause number 25 DCCR 0499, also find that you entered your plea of guilty freely and voluntarily, and those pleas of true. Find sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and at this time find you guilty. Find those prior convictions true. Sentence you in accordance with your agreement to a term of 5 years in the institutional division of the Texas Department of Corrections. You will receive credit on that sentence for any time that you've been in custody that the law gives you the right to receive. I'm handing you in each of those cases the trial court certifications that shows these were agreements that I followed, and so you've waived your right to appeal. They will run concurrently, which means together at the same time.
And state, you can call your next witness.
Judge will call Ms. Alyssa Ramirez.
All right, you may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Now, your name is Alyssa Ramirez?
Yes.
How do you spell your?
Through working with him that day, or those days that we worked with Miss Janice.
Okay. What days were those, if you remember?
It was back in June, April, May, at the end of May, early June.
Okay. And where were y'all working at?
We were helping her clear out her alteration business. She was moving it to a storage, and we were just helping her with it.
Okay.
She needed help.
And let's just clarify that. When you say you're working for her, who do you mean?
Oh, for Janice, the owner of the alteration.
Okay. And where was that? Where was the alteration place at?
It was on De Zavala and Indian Woods, I think it is.
Okay. What was the name of it?
JC's Alterations.
Okay. All right. So, how long do you work with Mr. Ross over at JC's Alterations?
It was just a total of 3 days. 3 days.
Okay. What were y'all employed to work on?
Just to move all her stuff to a storage, and that was just clearing out her entire building. That's
Okay.
that was the task to be completed.
Okay. Any kind of problems between anybody those 3 days?
There was problems between James and another girl that was working with us, Dawn. They kind of butted heads a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's
Nothing between James and Miss Janice Jones?
during the time of us working. Well, after the 3 days, yes, it was.
Okay. Well, let's go to that. Let's go to the events of June 1st.
Okay.
Walk us through, how did everything go down with Mr. Ross that day?
Okay, so, well, it began the prior day because Miss Janice had told us when we started working for her, she had made it clear to us that,
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay, non-responsive.
Right, that'll be sustained.
So when I'm asking you what's going on, we can't talk about what other people have told us, what other people said. It's just what you have personal knowledge of. Is that kind of, so we can't say like, this person told me. It's like, no. It's like only what we know. Does that make sense?
right.
Okay.
Okay, so what was the question?
All right. So tell us about June 1st. What happened?
On June 1st, when we were working helping her clear out her business, James had come in because he wanted to get paid, but she said she was going to pay when the job was finished. So he came in and basically just demanded that she pay him, and he pulled out a gun, and I went behind the chair.
Narrative.
All right, that'll be overruled.
So going back, so you said he pulled a gun. What happened next?
He told her I want my money, and
And by her, you mean?
I'm sorry. He told Miss Janice I want my money,
Okay.
and he picked up Dawn and kind of tossed her aside, and
And Dawn, what is Dawn's name or Dawn's full name?
Daphne Smith.
Okay.
And then I just went and hid behind a chair, and I called 911, and then he came up to the chair and he moved it and he said, "Didn't I work hard for this lady yesterday?" And I said, yeah, we all worked hard. And then he said, "Did she pay me?" And I said, "No, not yet." And then he went back to Miss Janice and he said, "I want my money." And I think he said by tonight or something. I don't know. He said he'll be back, and then he left.
Okay. When you called 911, what did you do with the phone?
I sat on it. I was scared that he was going to know that I called. So I sat on my phone, and then I would just like get up so that way maybe they could hear what was going on and that they would just see my GPS location and show up.
So you basically, did you call 911, set the phone down, and then talk to them afterwards?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was too scared to talk to them during the,
Okay.
I didn't want him to know I called.
How concerned were you that Mr. Ross would notice that you would call 911?
I was pretty scared to where I was afraid, should I call? I was actually deciding, should I call or not? Because if he finds out that I called, say my phone's really loud and they say, what's your emergency? Then what if he shoots me? So I was scared that he might kill me if he finds out that I called 911. So when he moved the chair, I was like, oh my gosh, he found out. I thought he found out that I called because I had my phone underneath my leg. And he didn't. He said, didn't I work hard for this lady yesterday? That was a relief because I was like, oh man, I thought he was, in my head, I was thinking, I thought that he knew I called and he was going to shoot me right now. So I was looking down at the floor. I didn't want to look up at him because I thought he was going to shoot me. I just stayed looking at the floor. And so then I was relieved and I said, yes, we all worked hard, which we did work hard. But, yeah.
When did he point the firearm at you?
When he said, I'm not playing with you two white bitches.
Your Honor. Judge, that's an
All right.
open question.
Excuse me. That'll be sustained.
When he pointed it at me was just when he said, I'm not playing with you two white bitches either. And that's what he told me and Daphne. And like I said, I was just looking down. I didn't want to look up. Once he saw the gun being pointed at us, I just looked down at the floor.
Can you describe the firearm to the best of your ability?
I want to say it was like a revolver, I think, with the turny thing, you know, where it turns. And it was like a gunmetal, like a dark gray.
Okay.
Definitely was not black. It was gray.
Where on your body did he point it?
He just pointed it like towards, like he didn't get close. He just pointed it at me. Like he was pointing at me and her. Like when he said, you two white, he just pointed it at me and then pointed it at her.
Was there any question in your mind that it was pointed in your direction?
Oh yeah. I mean, it was definitely pointed in our direction. Yeah.
Okay. How did that make you feel?
I was scared. I was really scared. But I just stayed looking at the ground because I was like, oh my gosh, if he shoots me, I didn't want to look up. I couldn't look up.
Well, Alyssa, I gotta ask, if you were looking at the ground, how could you see him point the gun at you?
Oh no, that's when I looked at the ground. When he pointed the gun at me is when I went like that and I looked down at the ground. Because I wasn't going to sit there and stare at him, you know, while he's pointing the gun at me. So I just looked down at the ground after he pointed it. I just went like that and I looked down at the ground. I never thought of what it would feel like if somebody pointed a gun at me and how I would react, but I couldn't do anything but just look away from it once I saw it pointed in my direction or at me. Yeah.
Okay. When did Mr. Ross leave?
Right after pretty much like 15 seconds after he had told me, didn't I work hard for this lady yesterday? Then he went back to Miss Janice and he said, I want my money. I'll be back. And then he left right after that.
Did you see him leave?
Yeah. I didn't see which direction. I saw him walk out, but I didn't see which direction he went or who picked him up or anything like that.
Did he leave the firearm at the location?
No, not that I know. I mean, no. I believe he actually put it back in his pants.
Okay. I was going to ask, did you see when he first pulled it, where did he pull it from?
So I can't remember if he pulled it from the front or the back, but I just remember him pulling it like I just saw it come out and I said, oh my gosh, he's got a gun. I can't remember if it's the back or the front. And that's honest. I cannot remember.
That's okay. Judge, we'll pass the witness.
Defense.
Hello. Wow. All right. So I want to go back before this a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Let things calm down a little bit. That's okay with you?
That's right.
So how many days actually did you work with the defendant?
3 days?
Was it 3 or 2?
Thought it was 3, but I guess the third day was the day that the defendant didn't show up. Or that third day would have been the day. The third day was the day with the gun, I guess.
So it's the defendant's understanding that he only worked there for Ms. Jackson 2 days. Okay. So the first day, do you remember the first day?
I remember the first day, yeah.
Can you tell us about the first day without going into too much detail? Like, what was the task being completed on the first day?
We were just packing up her things. I think we were trying to get the U-Haul. We hadn't gotten it yet. We were trying to get
Who was trying to
it. Melvin or Marvin and Claire. We're trying to get the U-Haul.
Sure.
Yeah, and Daphne, and she was trying to get the U-Haul. Me and Daphne went over and met Claire and Melvin at the U-Haul place. And
Which U-Haul place?
I think it was over there off of like Days of Vala, or it was off of I-10 somewhere. I wasn't the one who drove, but I think it was off of I-10 somewhere.
How far was it from shop that this U-Haul place that y'all went to? Was that
Maybe like, I think it was like 4 miles, maybe 3 miles, 4 miles, maybe. I'm not really.
how long did it take
Took a long,
Daphne to get the U-Haul the first day?
took a long time. A long time. I remember it taking a long time.
Did she actually get the U-Haul on the first day?
I had to leave to work on the first day, so I didn't stay. On that first day, I only worked so many hours. The next day, the U-Haul was there. So I wasn't there present when the U-Haul actually got there.
Next day, you don't remember the U-Haul being there just when you got there.
Just when I got there the next day, it was there.
Okay. What time did you get there the second day?
Carl? I don't recall what time I got there. I really don't. It was sometime. I think it was like around 11 or something. It wasn't early. Everybody else was already there.
What do you recall the vibe like in the area where everybody was working at?
It was okay.
Did you feel threatened by the defendant in any way?
I did not at that time. No.
Did you feel that Ms. Janice did?
Judge,
No.
don't object to that. There's no way that the witness knows what another person is feeling.
All right, legal objection.
Speculative.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I need a little bit of latitude here so that we can ascertain the complete vibe of the place.
All right, so the state's objection to speculation will be sustained.
Thank you, Judge.
The first or the second day, did you notice the defendant have any disagreements with Ms. Janice?
On that first or second, on those days, no.
So there was no conflict. Was it like a happy time?
At the end of the second day was when the defendant,
No, we're not talking about
Okay.
the second day. We're talking about during the work, when work.
during the work, no. During the work, no.
As to the quality of the work, did the defendant, how was his work ethic?
It was good. It was very well. I mean, the work ethic was good.
And you said you didn't feel threatened by him at all.
Not at that time.
So at the end of the second day, you and the defendant actually were, before the meeting at the shop at the end of the second day, at the storage unit, do you recall?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that right? Sorry. Is that when when Daphne went and crying? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. I remember that. Yeah.
Okay, so do you remember a gentleman and another lady being there?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall what they were doing?
The defendant and I had gotten chairs down for them to sit down because they're older in age.
So was that an idea of yours or was it the idea of the defendant?
I think it was an idea of the defendants.
To get
To
the older
let them
people
sit
out
down.
the way so that they
Right.
didn't hurt themselves coming in and out the truck, right?
Right.
So you and the defendant pretty much unloaded the whole truck.
Mostly, yeah. Yeah. Mostly.
Okay, so we're gonna move forward to the end of the second day when the truck was returned to the shop. Okay. Do you recall everybody who was there?
Yes. I believe so. I was the defendant, myself, Miss Janice, Claire, and Melvin. Or Marvin. I don't remember the name. It was Marvin or Melvin.
Was Daphne there?
I don't believe so. I mean, she had already showed. Oh wait, she had showed up before we did, and talked to Miss Janice.
Was she alone?
Was who alone?
Was Daphne by herself, or was there another male that accompanied her?
I don't remember. Maybe. Oh, I'm not sure who it was. Eddie, maybe somebody else. I don't know if that's what you're talking about.
If you recall that she was not by herself.
I don't really recall whether she was by herself or not, to be honest. I don't.
So before the first day of work, do you recall a male being there accompanying Daphne then?
Yes, she was. Yes. Yeah.
Do you recall his name?
Eddie.
Eddie?
Yeah.
Okay. What was going on with Eddie and Daphne at the time when everybody was beginning work?
They were having an argument, like a fight. Like he was there slowing down her working because he was telling her, what happened last night? How come you didn't come back? It was personal problems, personal issues with each other.
Would you say, were they drug-related problems? Drugs
I
involved?
don't think so.
Judge, I have to object to that. We're getting into the possible criminality of witnesses that I don't think are even involved.
All right, and the legal objection, just 1 second. If I could have the legal objection, please.
Judge, we'd object to relevance and also improper impeachment.
All right, that would be sustained.
Thank you, Judge.
You can rephrase. So at the beginning of work, Daphne and the gentleman are there, having a dispute in front of Ms. Janice, correct?
Judge, I'm gonna have to object to relevance here. What's happening between two people who are not involved? I don't see where it's going in regards to the witness.
Your Honor. I need a little bit.
Yes, okay, so everyone, this is what we're gonna do. I will hear objections. Once I've heard the objection, then I can hear the response, and it goes for both sides, and then I'll make a ruling. So, State, what is your legal objection?
Our objection is the Texas Rule of Evidence 403, which is relevance. I fail to see how this has any kind of probative value as to the credibility of this witness or to other witnesses or to any kind of defensive theory that they could put forth.
All right, defense, how is this relevant?
It's relevant, Your Honor, because it gives the character of the witness who claims to have seen a weapon.
All right, with regards to
drugs being involved, if she was on drugs, then it's possible that she could be over.
all right, I will tell you, at this time, the court is going to sustain the objection to relevancy. It may become relevant at a point in time, but for now, the objection to relevancy will be sustained. All right, thank you.
And Judge, if we may approach real quick.
Yes.
All right, I'm Mr. Ross.
Your Honor, I'm not asking about convictions.
Let me say this, and then I'll hear you. The state filed a motion, and let me just tell you what that motion makes to the court, and if my interpretation of it is incorrect, please let me know. The motion in limine, Mr. Ross, is that you are not allowed to question witnesses about any prior bad acts. So that includes any alleged drug use. You're not allowed to question them about criminal history. The only way that can be done, because I've ruled in the state's favor in this way, with regards to the motion in limine, there are to be no questions about those subjects. If you want to ask the witness a question about that subject, you need to let the court know before that's done. And this is the only thing I will say. You will need to ask to approach and then it needs to be heard outside the presence of the jury, because the jury is not allowed to hear things that are included in motions in limine. So I want you to review the state's motion in limine. So there will be no violations of the motion in limine. And then if there is something that you feel in that motion in limine that you need to ask a witness, it needs to be done outside the presence of the jury so that the court can make a ruling whether or not it can be asked in the presence of the jury. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, so does anyone have a copy of the motion in limine?
I believe he did it orally, Judge.
It was an oral motion from the judges.
If you could repeat, and for the record, this is outside the presence of the jury, if you could repeat the oral motion in limine.
Judge, to the best of my recollection, it was a motion in limine to bar any kind of questions or testimony regarding criminal acts, be they convictions or alleged criminal acts in front of the jury.
All right, so criminal acts, convictions. Just hold on, I want you to internalize what they're saying so that there will be no violations of the motion in limine. Now, criminal acts, Mr. Ross, may include drug use. This is what I can tell you. This witness, the questions you were asking this witness concerning drug use, was it about this witness's alleged drug use or someone else?
Someone else.
All right, so the court is going to find, and I've already ruled that it's irrelevant at this point in time. So I'm going to sustain their objection to relevancy. And you're not allowed to question this witness about any alleged bad acts of other witnesses until the court deems that it's relevant. At this time, the court is finding that it's not relevant.
Correct.
And Judge, we would ask that if the court may, if they may instruct the jury to disregard the defendant's previous questions.
I will instruct the jury.
Thank you,
Now,
Judge.
with regards to this witness,
Done. So if they say the gun was dark gray and they own drugs, like
with regards to cross-examination, you are not allowed to just ask any question that there's not any real basis for it. For example, a witness just can't be called and defense in the state will tell you. It's the question that people ask. So have you stopped beating your wife? And there's nothing that's based in. You're just throwing things at a witness. According to the rules and according to ethics, you cannot call a witness and your sole purpose is just to ask them questions that has no basis in anything. It's just serving as embarrassment. You understand?
right, and I don't mean to embarrass them. That's
So,
not my intention at all.
You are not allowed to ask her that question. And at this point in time, the court is going to find that it's not relevant.
Thank you, Judge.
Probably clear-headed that day.
Here's the thing, I am not allowed
Okay,
to
yeah.
give you legal, yes. Okay,
No more questions. No, I'm good.
all right, let's bring the jurors back in. The last question that was asked by Mr. Ross is to be disregarded. Does everyone understand? Is there anyone who is unable to do that? All right, Mr. Ross, you may continue.
After the first day, we began work. You, the defendant, Ms. Janice was there, Daphne, John, and her boyfriend or significant other, or whatever. You said that they seemed to be arguing about something. Is it clear at all what they were arguing about?
I do not know what they were arguing about.
What was the defendant's reaction to their interaction? Oh,
I don't recall what the reaction was to, no. I just remember Janice saying, Eddie, we don't need that personal business here. And he left after that. I don't recall what the defendant's reaction was.
Did Eddie immediately leave, or did he linger about?
He lingered a little bit. He lingered a little bit and then he left.
Fast forward to the end of the second day of work.
Okay.
Okay. At the end of the second day of work, when everybody made it back to the shop and everything done, truck put up, and all the workers were inside the shop about to leave for the night.
Mhm.
Do you recall that time?
Yes.
Do you recall the defendant's behavior?
Frustrated.
Was he frustrated and like loud and vocal, or argumentative, or was he silent and frustrated, waiting for a moment to express?
Frustrated because he was, I guess, waiting for a moment to talk to Janice alone. Not with everybody there.
Did Dennis allow for this moment?
I believe so. I'm not sure, actually. I don't really remember if she left for it or not, but I think so.
Do you remember a conversation between him and her?
I do remember him saying, yes. He said, if I don't get paid today for the work that I did, I'm not coming back tomorrow.
Okay. If you could rewind just a little bit.
Okay.
Do you recall what he asked her for?
I don't recall that. What? I don't remember what, like how the amount, or what are you asking?
Okay. I can't lead you to like, so what it's like is, do you remember whether he asked her for all of his pay, or did he ask her for
Partial. It wasn't all of it. No, it was partial pay. I just don't remember the amount.
Right. Okay. But it wasn't was it a complete day's pay? Did he ask her for?
I don't remember whether he just was asking her for some kind of payment that day.
It's in record that said that he asked her for money to buy drugs. Was that true?
She told me that.
Judge, I'm gonna object to that. There's no way the witness knows what other witnesses
Right.
we're talking about.
All right, that'll be overruled. Excuse me, that the objection to that will be overruled as far as to speculation.
Judge, we would also argue that this is all facts that aren't in evidence. And if anything, I would say it's also a misstatement of what was previously said.
It's facts.
All right, with regards to the misstatement, that will be overruled. All right, you can answer the question.
How did you ask the question again? I'm like,
Number two. Okay, sorry. Okay, go breathe. Let's let it breathe for a second. It said that it's in the record that the defendant asked for money from her,
Right.
from Janice.
and you're saying, okay, I understand the question now.
Do you remember that?
Yes, I do remember that.
Okay. Did he?
Did he ask her for money or for money for drugs?
Did he ask her for money for drugs?
I did not hear that, but Janice told me that.
What did you hear?
I just asked him to ask for money for pay for the day because he worked really hard and he needed some payment. Janice told me later on that he asked for it for drugs, and she said, I don't condone that. But I did not hear it personally myself. No, that's the honest truth. But Janice, I don't think she would lie. I don't think she would lie. She's a Christian lady and she has no reason to.
All right. So at the end of the conversation, the defendant said what?
Did the defendant say what?
How did the night end?
The night ended with Janice saying, she stayed firm in saying, I'm not going to pay until the job is finished. I told y'all that at the beginning and y'all agreed to it. And so Marvin ended up giving the defendant $20 bill and gave me a $10 bill for gas. Then I gave the defendant a ride to his apartment, dropped him off, and I went home. That's how the night ended.
did the defendant make you feel, did you feel threatened or intimidated or any
At
such?
that time, no. Not at that time, no.
So the next day, did the defendant show up for work?
No.
Do you recall the day following that if the defendant showed up for work?
No.
Did the defendant come back to the shop at all?
Yeah, the very next day, yes, he came back, but not to work. That was when he came back with the gun. Or am I missing a day or something? Because I was working my own full-time job at the time. So am I missing a day? Is there?
You missed a few days.
Okay, because I was working my own job full-time. I was just trying to help on the side. So if you, I don't know what days I wasn't there, but my next day that I saw the defendant was when that whole thing happened with the gun.
Okay.
I believe it was the following day actually, because it had to be, because it was when he said, I'm not coming back tomorrow. Yeah, it had to be the next day.
Okay. Are you aware of whether or not the defendant contacted the owner, Ms. Janice?
I was told yes, that the defendant had came in the morning with his girlfriend and that the girlfriend was being rude.
Were you there at that?
I was not there, but this is what Daphne and Janice told me. I had no idea.
I don't mean to say like that's enough, but like
I had no idea.
okay. So, but you were there when he. So Marvin or Claire's husband gave you $10 and gave the defendant $20.
Right.
Okay. And why did he do that?
Because he felt bad that we didn't get. He said she's a hard one, or like she's gonna stick to her guns. You know, she's gonna stick to what she said. So he felt bad for us, and I needed gas, so he gave me $10 and he gave the defendant $20.
And out of this $20, did the defendant give you any money to put in your gas?
He was going to.
He didn't.
Not out of the 20. Through Cash App,
Yeah.
he did.
That's
Yes,
what I mean.
but out of that $20 bill, no.
Okay.
But previously, yes, out of Cash App, $5. Yes.
So a man who witnesses the defendant working hard, and the defendant asks for some money from, who he's working for, not an entire day's pay, but a portion of it so he can make it back, the gas money. This man witnesses this and he feels sorry and gives the defendant and another worker money for gas.
Judge, I'm objectified to counsel testifying as well as the form of the question.
Sustained.
Thank you, Judge.
My bad, excuse me. That's all for now, Your Honor. I'll let it go for now.
All right. State, any
Few quick
questions?
follow-up questions, Judge, if I may, of
Yes.
course. Ms. Alyssa. So walk us through, what was the agreement with Ms. Janice regarding employment?
She had told all of us, before y'all get started, I want y'all to know that I will not pay until the job is finished, because multiple times in the past, I have been where people work and then they just leave.
All right. That will be overruled.
She's basically said that people have ripped her off in the past, where they just leave her with all this work because they got their pay for that day and they just leave. So she said, to keep them coming back, to keep you guys coming back, I want y'all to treat it as a job. Like when you work at a job, you get paid at the end of the week. You get paid 2 weeks later. So I want y'all to treat this like a job. And you're going to get paid at the end of the job when it's finished.
And to your knowledge, did James Ross finish the job?
It wasn't finished yet, no.
Okay. And was the payment to be the same for everyone?
I really was not told an amount of payment, to be honest.
But when people would be,
Your Honor, speculation.
That'll be sustained.
but when was the time that was agreed upon that everyone would be paid?
Just whenever we finished. If it took us a week, it was going to be at the end of the week. Just whenever we finished.
Okay. So let's clean up the days a little bit. So when did the job start?
But
What
the
day?
date,
Yeah, well, what day did it start?
I can't tell you. I remember what day it was. To be honest, I don't know. Geez, I'd have to look back on my text messages on my phone to see my text message from Janice and Daphne. You know, because I really honestly don't remember the exact date.
That's okay, that's okay. So let's count backward from the day of the incident. How many days before the incident did the job start?
2 days.
Okay.
The third day was the incident.
And that was June 1st?
Yes.
And on cross, do you recognize James Ross?
Yes.
Was James Ross the person who pointed the gun at you on June 1st?
Absolutely. Yeah.
You recognize the person who pointed that gun at you in the courtroom?
Yes.
Can you point him out for the jury?
He's right there. The guy that's been talking.
Can you describe him by an article of clothing he's wearing? For the record.
Oh, he's wearing a black t-shirt.
Let the record reflect that the witnesses identified the defendant. Back to witness, Judge.
All right, defense, any other questions?
One more. Do you remember the defendant's girlfriend?
No.
Were you there when she came and talked to Janice?
No. I was not there. I wasn't there in the morning. That was when that happened in the morning, and I wasn't there till later. When the defendant's girlfriend came. I didn't see it. No, I didn't see a girlfriend.
What time did you get there that day?
I want to say like 11. I got there late. Everybody else got there early in the morning, like at 9. Or sometime like at 9. And I got there like 11. So I wasn't working that long before it happened. That's why I didn't have knowledge of the girlfriend coming in the morning until after the gun incident happened.
That's all for now. I like the witness.
All right, the rule has been invoked. That means that you're not allowed to discuss your testimony with anyone or view anything about this case until the conclusion of this case. Please make sure you're available if either party wishes to recall you as a witness.
An agreement with Ms. Janice Jones.
So it was going to be, she said like 4 to 5 or 6 days to move from the Wood to Chavano. My son's name was right there on De Zavala and Wood to Chavano. So like Hillsong De Zavala, basically. So from there over to UTSA Boulevard and the access road of De Zavala and I-10 to her storage unit. And
Okay. What was the time that everyone would get paid for this job?
so mom told everyone that was there. And it wasn't
And
everybody.
I just got to clarify, by mom, who do you mean?
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're on the hearsay?
This is saying,
To your knowledge, can you clarify this, jury? When you say mom, what is the name of that person?
Janice, I'm sorry.
Okay.
So Janice told us all that when the job is done,
Jason,
for what?
hearsay? Objection for hearsay?
What is the same?
Now, so we can't talk about what other people have told us. We can only say what we have our personal knowledge of. So to your personal knowledge and your belief, when was payment supposed to be made for this job?
when job was completely done, after everything was from her JC's alterations over to the storage units, everything was out of the store and cleaned.
Okay. To your knowledge, how did Mr. James Ross begin working there?
When I was walking the dog, when I was with Andrew at that apartment complex, he said he knew the dog. He started calling it by its name, and he had a beautiful smile. And I was like, "Oh, hi. Oh, you know the dog? You know?" So
And when you say who do you mean?
James.
Okay.
And so, and so I'm too soft sometimes, and I'm regretting that now. But so, when I said, Mom, Janice, yesterday there were supposed to be 8 people that showed up to help her move her store, and I was the only one that showed up, and I couldn't do. So, excuse me, sorry. so I saw him, and he's very strong, and he was very kind. And so I asked him, would you want to come and make, a little extra money and just down the street, because it's on the access road of Huebner, where his apartment was, by my friend Andrew's friend's apartment. And he was like, yeah. So that's when we went over there, and then like 2 or 3 days later, everything went completely opposite weird.
So you were the person who recommended James for this job at JC Alterations?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Let's go to the day of the incident. All right. And so June 1st, 2025, what happened that day?
I'm sorry, I don't know. Was that the third day that we were working, or?
It would be the day of the incident. What
Okay.
happened that day?
So, I'm sorry, it's been a minute. So I don't know if that's when, I think the day before is when a girl came in. I want to say she said her name was Pebbles or Pickles or something like that.
Well, let's go to, just to make sure we're staying on point.
Okay.
The incident with the gun. Walk us
Okay.
through what happened that day.
So if you walk into Mom's store, so if you're walking in, so here's the door, and the wall goes like this. It's like a rectangle building, and we had a lot of stuff already moved out, but to the left of that is like a big square area where we had boxes that we were putting in the U-Haul, and against that area was like metal folded chairs, like maybe 3 or maybe 4 of them lined up right there.
Okay.
And so he came in the door, James came in the door, and I'm protective of Mom. And so I got up and I turned around and I got in front of him, and I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I go, don't, because he was demanding money again. I think I don't know if it was the second or third time. And I was getting ready to tell him, like, hey, Mom said job.
Narrative.
Suspend.
So let's break that down a little bit. Why did you feel that you had to protect Miss Jones?
Because I've never seen him. He was kind. I'd never seen him aggressive like that. It was like a complete different person. And I call her Mom because I love her. She's amazing. She's so kind. And I didn't realize, I guess, his strength. So as soon as he walked in and he grabbed one of those folding chairs and he slammed it down on the ground, and Mom's sitting in the middle of the room over here. And he can I stand up or no? No, probably not. Okay. It's okay. So anyway, he had on long shorts and a shirt, and so when he slammed the chair down, his legs were wide open like this, and he said, "Where's my money?" And she was like, "James." She was sitting there, and she was very calm. She's so awesome. She was so sweet and calm. She was, "James, I told you that when the job is done, I told everybody that."
Suspend.
Again, we can't go into what other people said.
Okay,
So we can only talk about what we
I'm sorry.
observed, what we saw, what we heard, what we felt. Okay?
Okay, sorry. Okay. So anyway, when I stood up in front of him to try and stop him, I didn't know if he was going to hurt Mom. Like I said, it was a different side of seeing of him. He picked me up by I had a sports bra and a
Who
tank
picked you
top.
up?
Okay, sorry, what?
It's okay. Who picked you up?
James did.
Okay.
He picked me up and he threw me against the wall over here, and I landed literally against the wall flat like that. But before he did that, he had a gun like this big, maybe, I don't know what, silver gun, and he had it to my head. And then he's I don't remember what he said now because it's been a minute, but it was something like bitch or something. I don't remember. I don't remember what he said, but I literally, when he threw me against the wall, I laid there and I had my hands up like this because I didn't want to think I had a gun or a phone or anything. And I was just praying for my dog and my son to be able to see them again. And then I don't know, Elisa was over here on the wall next to me. And I don't know, because my face was down around. I was just praying. So I just remember that while my head was down, I don't know what between him and Elisa what happened, but I just remember I heard the gun, something like right next to us, and I was laying on the ground, and he said, I felt like it was like right here, but he had already held it up to my head before he threw me. But when against the wall right there, he said, he asked Elisa and I, he asked us, I think, 3 questions. He said something like, did I do a good job? And he did do a good job. He did a great job. And he said, did
do what I was supposed to do or something. And I don't remember exactly, I'm sorry, what the questions were that he asked us, but I don't even know if I fully was paying attention. I was just so scared. So I thought that the right answer to say the thing was yes. So I just finally said yes. And then, I thought I was going to die, but, and then and then he,
If I may, it's okay, Daphne, take a deep breath. You need a moment?
oh, okay, yes.
Let me know when you're ready. Just look up at me and nod, okay? Ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's go back a little bit and let's unpack that. Okay. So you said that James Ross was the person in this whole incident.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, sir.
You recognize James Ross?
Yes, sir.
Was he the person who pulled the gun on you?
Yes, sir.
You recognize him in the courtroom?
Yes, sir.
Can you point him out for the jury? Can you describe an article of clothing that he's wearing for the record?
A black t-shirt and glasses on his head.
Okay. The record reflect that the witnesses identified the defendant. All right. So let's go a little bit forward. Do you remember what the gun looked like?
It was like maybe like this kind of, and I think it was silver. I think.
The silver gun?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It was a silver gun?
Yes, I think so. Yes, sir.
Okay. And did he point it at you, or did
He put it. It was on my head right here when he walked in. Because when I went up to him like whoa, like kind of leave mom alone. So when he slammed that chair down, and I was over here, and so I walked up, and I'm like whoa. So when he picked me up from my sports bra and my tank top, he put it right here, and it picked me up. I mean, my feet were not even touching the ground. I'm sorry, this is so weird.
It's okay. Did the firearm make contact with your head?
Yes, sir.
Were you able to see the firearm when it made contact with your head?
Not necessarily, because it was up here. So
when did you see it?
So when he pulled that chair out, he went like this. He didn't walk in with it like in his hand. He had big shorts on. He pulled it when he stood up to tell me like to get out of his way. He pulled it out of his shorts like this.
Can you stand up and show the jury where and how he pulled it from?
Yes, sir. So when he put that chair down, his legs were like, he slammed the chair down. His legs were like this. And then I went in front of him to tell him like, leave mom alone. You know, just go. Anyway, so when he slams it, he goes, and he stands up and he goes like this. So there were big shorts, so you can't even tell, I guess. And now I was not looking for that anyway. When he pulled it up, and then I was like, this is wow. I never have, is that good or? Okay, sorry.
How long did this event last?
I don't think very long, because I know now, Elisa called the cops, I guess, and then I know I called the cops, and the lady was kind of getting mad at me on the phone because she couldn't understand me. But all I know is that when I finally felt like it was okay to lift my head up and my hands off the ground, I was freaking out, and they said that I heard somebody there was two other, I think one was mom's nephew or something, Janice's nephew, and I heard them say that, oh, he pulled out in a red something, I don't remember. And then, but since Elisa had called, I guess, sooner than I did, the lady finally figured out what I was saying to her, and she said, the police are on the way.
Lady, who was the lady?
The lady on the phone, the 911 person that I was calling. Yes, sir.
Okay. And so after you called 911, did you see James leave?
No, he had, I did not see him after he threw me. I was on the ground to like whatever I was hearing, like that he would, like he was like, okay, what vehicle's he in? So I softly kind of got up and just sorry.
Okay. Okay. Did you see that if there was a gun or a firearm like the one you saw left behind?
I didn't look around, but I don't believe so.
Okay.
I don't know, to be honest with you, I have no clue.
And this is going to be a silly question, but I got to ask you, how did you feel when you had that firearm to your head making contact?
I was just praying to God that if I die, that God will take care of my son and my dog.
Did you feel threatened?
Absolutely, yes. I was scared.
Did you feel threatened by James's actions?
Yes, sir.
Judge, we're past the witness.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you 5 minutes and then I'll bring you back in. Everyone, please rise for the jurors. All right, to the defense, it's the court's understanding that you had questions that you wanted to ask the witness, and those questions are in regards to the motion in limine. So if you'll ask those questions, and then the court will make a determination on relevancy and, of course, hear any other objections. You may proceed and focus on the questions that you want to ask her in regards to the motion in limine. All right, so we're going to focus on the questions with the motion in limine.
On the first day that you started working at JC Alterations, there was a man there with you, and he was like getting aggressive. You remember?
Yeah, Eddie, yes.
Okay. What was that? Was he on drugs?
I don't know. Eddie, he passed away 3 months ago, but he lives in my son's neighborhood right there in the woods of Chavanel, but he follows me everywhere. So he followed me to mom's store. So he wasn't with me. Remember how mom she told him, she was like, if you're not going to work, you need to go.